Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Melissa, Boss Beginnings. Thank you for tuning in. If you've seen the title, you already know what today's topic is about. So this is Black History Month, and so I decided that maybe I should do some Black History series and talk about different things that happen that we may or may not know about. I have a special guest. You've seen her before. She helped me with the AJ Armstrong case, and her name is Angel. This is my niece. Go ahead, Angel.
Hello, hello. Can you hear me?
Mhm.
Okay, good. I'm back. You know what else I helped do? I helped build that Barbie box. I don't think
Yeah,
that was
I never
live,
did
but
post that one.
so no one ever saw that. Okay, so
Mm.
yeah, tell me.
So yeah, you're right. You did help me, Bill. And you know what's so sad about me not being able to post that video? Shindig went out of business shortly after, and I think I have an idea why they went out of business because when I ordered that Barbie box, they sent me two of them. So and I only paid for one.
That'll send you out of
Do it.
business real quick. Real quick. That'll do it.
Okay, so today I'm going to tell you about Clarence King and Ada Copeland, or whatever. A love story, right? They met each other in New York. They had five children, four of them which they grew to adulthood. And you hear that, you think like, okay, this is a regular story like any other story. But of course, there's a twist to this story. And let me share my screen so I can show you the little slideshow I made. It's real short, my slideshow.
What is the name? Who are these people again? Clarence King?
Clarence King and Ada
Mm-hmm.
Copeland. Okay,
All right.
so this is. I think this is Ada Copeland. So if you find out this is Harriet Tubman or Sojourner, I don't know. This is the picture they had by her name, so don't come for me. All right. So at the age, I don't know, but I know in the 1980s she decided to move to New York. Okay. So she
In the
was
1980s?
in the 1880s. I'm sorry. In the
Oh,
1880s, she decided she was
I
born
was like, wait.
like last year, right? She was born December 23rd, 1860. So I'm guessing. So she was 20. It's around round up. So in her 20s, she was born in Georgia, but she decided to move to New York in her 20s, and where she was a nursemaid, is what they called her. And she met this young gentleman, and his name was Clarence King. Okay, so Clarence
Okay.
King was born in 1842, January 6th, 1842. But it's something special about Clarence. He studied at Yale. He studied chemistry, physics, and geology. He had made connections with the Secretary of State, who was one of his close friends. He was a geologist. He was a very smart man, but it was said that he had attraction. They say to Indian and African American women. But the spoiler here is, we talked about before, is that a lot of what we consider Native American women were misclassified. So they might
Right.
simply just be saying he was attracted to, brown women, copper
He
colored women.
liked that melanin.
He likes the melanin. So um, so he knew at this time, it wasn't illegal for black and white people to marry, but it would have been a social, death basically. And not just for him, but for Ada also, she would have been ridiculed for having a white husband. But according to the records, they stated that having a light skinned black husband would have been like a step up. I don't know why, but they said it would have been like a step up. Mr. Clarence King decided when he went to New York and he saw Ada that he would, change his identity, which was really common back then. So he decided to pretend to be a light skinned black person. So I know people look at this picture and they say, oh, he's white. So how did he get away with it,
I
right?
mean, he's kind of given he could figure it out. Like he's like a white man, but it's given with the right haircut. Like
Right.
he could be a light skinned black man.
Okay, well, he actually was able to get away with it. And what was said is that in that time they had a rule because there were so many mixed race people that if you had a black person in your family 8 generations down, that you were considered black because they were so much mixing. So they were trying to, but as easy as he did, anybody else could do, right? Uh,
Mhm.
as easy as he just decided to say, like, nah, I'm James. And he created this whole new character of James, and he said he was a Pullman, which is a person that worked on like these trains that served. I guess it's like a train's flight attendant is when I looked it up, and
Mhm.
only black men were you had those jobs. So that's how he was able. That's how she figured he has to be black if he's a pole man. I hope I'm saying it right. Because only black men were allowed to do that job.
Wait, so maybe I skipped a step in the story. Hold on, never mind. Just keep talking. I will see. Maybe I skipped
Well,
a
he
step.
was lying. He was not actually. He was a geologist, but that's the excuse that he used, and that's how he explained his time away. Like when he had to go back to his real life to make
Mhm.
money to support his family, he explained that because he said he was a Pullman. I think that's how you say it. But yeah, he was.
So he was married as Clarence.
So when he met his wife, she knew him as James Todd. So when he saw her in New York, he introduced himself as James Todd,
Mhm.
this light skinned black man. And like I said, the way he was able to get away with it is because you were considered black as long as if you had any relative in your great grandparents, 8 generations back, great, 8 generations back, if they were black, you were considered black.
Okay.
So that's how he was able to get away with it. So he said
Oh, you're saying he went back. He would go be a geologist to
at
bring back the
home.
monies. Okay, I thought you were saying he was going back over there with a family. Like he had two families. I got you.
No,
Okay.
I don't think yet. No one's so he studied at Yale for applied chemistry. He also studied physics and geology. One of the inspiring teachers was James Dana, a highly regarded geologist who had participated in a scientific expedition to South Atlantic and South Pacific and the west coast of South and North America. I mean, he had a lot, like I said, he had a lot of great connections. Um, and one of the biggest connections was with James Garner, who was a close friend since high school.
Mhm.
So, and his name will come up again. So they say that they don't believe that she knew. When I say she, I'm referring to Ada that he was a white man. They believe that she until his deathbed when he confessed that he wasn't, that she believed that he was a light skinned black man. I know. I feel like she knew. I feel like maybe when she first met him, she didn't know, but I feel like she knew way before he passed.
I mean, if all he had to say was 8 generations down, I mean, you still a white man. Like he really could have a white man 8 generations down. He just might. I mean, a black man. He just might not know. So I don't know how deep into the lie he got. Like I don't know if he was just like, yeah, I got some black in me, or if he was trying to tell her like, no, like I got like black in me. Cause I just feel like 8 generations down is still kind of far
Spark,
to
yeah.
be like maybe she just didn't care.
Maybe she didn't
I
care.
don't know why he went out of his way to be like, hey, I know I said I was 1/8 black. Let's go and make that 0/8 on my
Yeah.
deathbed.
Hey,
Like,
when I look down that map, I ain't see no niggas. I apologize.
like,
Right.
you sorry you're dying. I didn't need this information.
Right.
Like, I don't know.
Well,
I
the
mean,
reason he wanted to tell her because his wealth was under his real name, and so he wanted her to
oh,
have the trust that he had, which was under his real name. But the reasons I believe that she actually knew that he was a white man is because when they were married, they did an announcement in the newspaper, and in that announcement, it was a masquerade ball. So like I feel like she didn't want people questioning because when we fall in love, we don't have time for y'all coming there saying, "I don't think you telling the truth, girl."
I'm gonna tell people that too, just in case anybody like, why you not dating a black man? I'm be like, he want eight.
He was
Like,
hey, if you look at his great grandma, I don't know how many
she
great
had
great.
a she had a little black in
She
me.
one
That's
fifth
it.
black. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, because even to tell, like, it mattered to like racist people, right? But
Right.
like, if we step back, if somebody like 8 generations down, I had a black person in my family, they probably still look like a whole white man. And
Yeah.
so she probably was like, nah, we're gonna have to put the mask on
You gonna put a
because
mask on you?
you
'Cause I don't have
claim, you claim, but they gonna be coming for me because they'll be like, sis, that's a whole white man.
That's a
Like,
whole white
please leave
man.
me
What are
alone.
you doing, ma'am? That's a whole. She's like, my man is
That's
light
funny.
skinned, and his great grandma or great grandma was definitely a part of the struggle.
She
But
was, yeah.
so they had a masquerade ball for their wedding. Also, they bore 5 kids, like I said, and four of them made to adulthood. So I guess one passed away. They don't speak on that. So of his 4 kids, he had 2 girls and 2 boys, and the
Hmm.
2 girls married white men. And when they got married, they had each one of their sisters to vouch that they were white. So they were passing also. That's another reason I kind of feel like, because if it was such disgrace for black people to marry white people, then why would they then turn around their daughters marry white men and then pass for white, And so, and they one of the daughters went so far as to not even have children because she didn't want like her true genes to come out. Like, she probably was white passing. She didn't want to have this baby and this baby come out with a little melanin and have some explaining to do because she had been passing for white. But at the same time, their 2 sons went into the military and they were in the colored, they were
Mm.
labeled as black. So, I mean, maybe their daughters came out lighter and their sons didn't. And their whole family was eventually just labeled as a mulatto, which, we know as mixed race, but, we have other information that natives were labeled as mulatto back
Hmm.
then also. So we don't know what they meant by mulatto. We can't take today's definition and apply it on yesterday's, you know, culture, but we just know what it stood for. What eventually ends up happening is that Clarence ends up contracting tuberculosis, and
Dang.
he gets sick, and he goes to Cuba, where he tries to get cured, but that doesn't work. He comes back
Oh,
home.
Clarence had money, money.
What Clarence was bald? That's what I said. She know this man was not riding on no train, making this money
She
going.
like, let me get this straight. You going where to get your tuberculosis? Okay, but
All
you are
righty.
you're a pole man. Okay.
Okay, how much women investigate? You sitting here telling me this woman was just like, okay, Clarence, you've been saving up your money good. You flying planes and stuff like you fancy. But
They gonna just let you in Cuba to get that checked out.
right. Well, he goes to Cuba. It doesn't work. He comes back home. I think he goes to Arizona. Let me look to be sure. But I think that's where his life ends. King died on December 24th, 1901 of tuberculosis. Yep, in Phoenix,
Dang.
Arizona.
He died a day after her birthday.
Oh, he
I think
did.
you put her birthday was on the 23rd.
Yeah.
That's sad.
And was
That's
buried in
sad.
Newport, Rhode Island. And so on his deathbed, he wrote her a note or whatever. And I think the note, I know people say, oh, well, he confessed on his deathbed. But I think it was more so to validate who he was. Like, if she just goes and tells him this, they say, oh, this crazy lady is lying. But if I write this note, this validates who I am. And so in the note, he
So
tells
did
her,
she get his wealth?
after he dies, she does not get his wealth, but she's receiving a check each month. And so she doesn't know where this check is coming from, but she's receiving a check. She's an 11-bedroom house. So ma'am is not struggling. Okay.
Did it? Is the friend sending it?
So the friend is sending it.
Oh, not me jumping. I'm like, who's sending the coins?
Who's
Okay,
sending the
who sending the
money?
coins?
Yeah,
Okay.
so friend is sitting there. She goes to court, and her lawyer is one of the first black lawyers. So sad. His name is like Everett. Never heard of him. Sorry, but his name is Everett. Let me see. Let me see. Um, his name is Everett. I know that, but he's like the first, and he's like the first black lawyer, and he sat in front of the Supreme Court with this case. Um, and she eventually loses, but she doesn't lose because she can't prove that he's Everett Warning. I'm probably saying it. Waring, Waring. He was the first black person
Warren.
admitted to the Maryland State Bar in 1885 and the Supreme Court bench of Baltimore on October 10th, 1885. He practiced before the Supreme Court of the United States and Maryland State Appellate Court. Okay, so he's important. Okay, so now I know about him. But yeah, so she lost because they said he didn't have any money. Basically, he didn't have any money. But of course, we know how they went because he left her $80,000 and in a trust, which was I don't know how much that'd be equivalent to back then, but I know. I mean, it's not a whole bunch now, but let me get 80,000. You know, like I'd love to have.
Okay, I want. Yeah, I'm not me getting ready to see how much it was. Go ahead, I'm listening.
But so that's when she found out that his friend had been sending the money the whole time. And when his friend passed away, guess what? His son started sending the money. And when his son passed away, because guess what? Ada outlived everybody. His daughter passed the money, but eventually the checks stopped coming. But she was at that point, she was still in the house that his friend had bought for her, and she was living a good life. She lived to 103 years old. So.
What? That is equivalent 80,000 in 1900 is worth 2,826,000. You know what? Hold on. 26,638. Yeah, today.
Oh wow! So yeah, he left her $2
So
million
she
dollars in
was
our
big
time,
balling.
and she wasn't able to get it, but she did get a check each month, so she wasn't struggling. But she wasn't able to get it, and I don't even think that his friend needed the money. I think it's just the more the merrier because, like they say, he was Secretary of State of a president. So I mean, maybe he didn't. I don't know. Yeah, maybe he felt like he was doing right by her by cutting the checks, and they never
By
said
cutting
how
her
much
check.
the check was. But you know how men are too, especially because she was a woman. He might have thought that was
I
bad.
thought you said 11,000. You didn't say that?
I didn't say that.
Oh,
It
I'm
just said
making stuff
I said
up.
he had an 11 bedroom house. She had 11.
Oh, that's what you said.
Yeah. So this is the love story of Clarence King and Ada. I think it's a pretty cool story to think. We always hear about people trying to pass for white. We never hear about people passing for black. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that we need to really, really reevaluate how we look at history and how it's told to us because a lot of things that we know as absolutes are not true. And I think that once we learn more about history and how things gone, like this man was willing to pretend to be black, like I don't want to say that. I'm just gonna say, just think about that. Think about like what could the climate have been then if somebody was willing to be black just to get married. I mean, because there are
Yeah.
white people he could have married. It's not like he grew
Well,
up.
it is not even that though. Like, so we're thinking he came into town. He was like, "Oh, I see her over there,
Mhm.
so I'm gonna tell him I got some black in me." And like,
Maybe he didn't think it was going to go as far.
no, I'm not saying that. I'm saying like he came in kind of like, "Oh, it's a lot of black girls in the building. I need to be black." So like his willingness, like it does just make you wonder, like
What was the
it's not
comment?
it's not like that it wasn't bad. I'm sure that it sucked. I'm sure that for him being a white man, a fully white man in another part of the world, he probably was like, dang. But I also feel like they were it I don't know,
It was a class thing, maybe
it can't be like, cuz I don't care how much I like you. If pretending to be like you
to get me killed.
means people like, murdering me, kicking me, beating me, spitting on me, I don't know that I have it in me.
But I
Like,
guess at the same time, he could tell her he's black, but when he's out in public, he's white looking, so he might not even have that issue because people. But if he's with his wife,
without her though, I
yeah,
was about to
yeah,
say, because they had it announced in the newspaper, like they
yeah,
had
that's true.
children, they were walking around together, so he had to be. And if the whole thing was, I'm gonna pretend that I got some black in me, because that way it won't nobody's gonna say anything about us being married, then that means that when they went out in public, like he was with
Yes,
her
yeah.
under the assumption that he's a partially black man, at
Yeah.
least. Like,
I mean, I think I'm gonna order the book and read more into it because there's some questions I have. Because how were the daughters able to say they were white, but the sons is classified as black? It's just some questions that I have about
yeah,
this
that
family.
is weird. It's like, did the daughters cut their brothers off?
Right? Did they like say, "I'm leaving that family behind"?
Excuse me.
I mean, we don't know, but I'm gonna read the book and I'm gonna come back and do an update to this video. But that's it. And so tomorrow I am gonna be doing another video about a black slave owner. since it's Black History Month, and we'll get into how he was one of the first he was one of the first people to legally enact slavery. So you think of slavery, you think of a whole bunch of stuff, but he's the first person on record to actually have a slave. So we want to talk about that tomorrow. So if you don't have anything to do, or if you want to come back, you just let me know. If not, I'll be back here tomorrow to talk about this.
Yes, I'm here for it. I'm here for all the Black History story time. So
Well, let me know what you guys think about Ada and Clarence's union. They call her Ada King, which I feel like is incorrect because unless she knew, because I think she knew, she would really be Ada Todd because that's who she thought she married. Let me know what you guys think about the story and how do you think it worked out back then, and just any stories that you would like for me to do that maybe not too many people little known Black history facts, because we might have to do one on Frederick Douglass and talk about him and his wife. But yeah, just let me know. Okay. But thank you for coming. Until next time, as I always say, stay crafting, guys.